Hey folks, and welcome back to the wonderful world of Flight Simulator. And today, a little different. We're flying in Australia for a start, and whilst not necessarily a bush flight, Australia's mostly bush, so yeah, kind of counts. But I promised Jack, the guy who plays Nigel in Aspirant, that I would do something in Australia. And I thought, you know what? Let's celebrate Nigel. I got him to do me some bits of audio for this one, so you'll have some more immersion in this flight. And we're flying from Goondawindi Lake in New South Wales to Goondawindi, which is somewhere Nigel loves apparently. And we have this beautiful livery on the LDR Grammar Mallard, and the R stands for Rachel, because I'm the texture artist on this model. It's Larry, Rachel and Dave. Or Larry, Dave, Rachel. Yes, we made this plane. Larry modeled it, Dave did a lot of the flight dynamics, and I did the textures. So every texture you see on this that makes it not a grey blob is me. Panel lines, interior, the works. So be kind to me. This is one of the ones I'm proud of. Yeah, I do add-ons in Flightsim. We've done a few, and this is one of my personal favourites, being a float plane. And yes, we are flying budget Qantas Airlines today with Nigel's customised nose art. And of course the flying dingo on the tail, unlike the typical Qantas kangaroo. But we're moored out here on Goondawindi Lake. Some passengers have come out to us, of course, in their boat. Let's open all the hatches for them. I need to open the bow hatch so Nigel can loose the lines for us. But once our passengers are aboard, we'll get ourselves started and moving off today to Goondawindi. It's about a 48-mile flight, so not going to be a long one today. Beautiful clear skies, so we'll get to see a lot of Australia. I think everybody is aboard now. Okay, so we're in the cockpit here. So whilst I get started up, best when we get the engine systems running, we'll do the build just to make sure we're clear. But hey, Nigel, do you mind coming out of the bow compartment and actually briefing the passengers? Would appreciate it, Nigel. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying Discount Qantas Airlines. I'm going to be your flight attendant for the day. My name is Nigel, but if you have any glue or whatever, just leave it in the seat pocket and I'll come pick it up at the end of the flight today. Alright, here we go. I'm going to remind you guys that you need to not smoke in laboratories because you can't get high in there. I've tried, but I tried too many times. Never forget, mate. Alright, make sure you need to keep all bags, dingoes and Thomases under the seat in front of you, or put it over the head that's on top of the map. Not your own head though, because we're not living forever less, and I don't even know, but I just stopped sniffing the glue and flying, but that was bad up here. It's like drinking alcohol, but it's worse with the glue, mate. Alright. If the oxygen mask falls from on top of you, you need to inhale that shit like a 99, mate. You're a right little that stuff. You got 15 minutes of pure fun right there, mate. Make sure you put your own mask on before you help Thomas. If Thomas starts having a mad seizure, well, enjoy it, but put your mask on first so you can enjoy it more before you pass out from hypoxia, mate. Remember, if we crash on the water, and it's highly unlikely that we're going to crash in the water because we're flying in the fucking desert, mate, but we could fly into a sinkhole or some shit today. Life jacket's going to be under your seat. If you don't have a life jacket under your seat, start to get concerned for that. Alright, make sure that you put it over your neck, get the cord, put it around your little fucking tight ass and fat belly and shit. Remember, only inflate the life jacket when you exit the aircraft. Final important thing, remember, you got to keep your seatbelt fastened. If you don't keep your seatbelt fastened, I'll come over and I'll smack you with my Rambo snack today. My name is Nigel. I'll be floating around the cabin, making sure that you guys are sitting back and shutting up. If you want to ask me for a tea or a coffee or anything, you can get right fucked, but I don't know how to make any of that shit. If you ask me how to get petroleum 91 fuel on board, oh, I've got you covered today. Remember to sit back, relax, and shut the fuck up, because I've only got 8 more hours of this shit before I go on vay with the missus. Alright, thanks, today.
Okay, thank you, Nigel, for that one. Let's get ourselves moving. So we've got the engines all started operating here. Programmed navigation systems. We need to type in the multicom frequency we'll be using today. So we're going to be dialing in 122.4. So Kulmunda traffic. Victor Hotel Yankee. Flight Dingo 439. Departing Kulmunda Lake. Going to be departing to the Sierra. Okay, let's get ourselves turned around. One of the benefits of having separate throttles is, of course, I can do this. Too slow for my rudder to operate, but this means I can use one of my engines to thrust forwards while the other one isn't, and I get turned around. Set a notch of flaps in. Dingo 439er departing southbound for Goondawindi. Okay, so being a float plane, I have to get us up on the step here, which means pitching forward slightly. So we get up to speed. And she should come off the water. There we go. Beautiful. Nice and simple takeoff there. Just let ourselves dial in here. Okay, so we are set up and ready. Heading is going to be off to roughly our 240 for Goondawindi, so we're going to dial back our engines to climb power. And start our turn to starboard. Bring back the mixture a little bit. Oh, bit too much on the prop RPM. Okay, so heading on to course here for Goondawindi. We're flying GPS track right now because there's actually not a lot of nav beacons in Australia at the moment, weirdly enough. A lot of it uses GPS and RNAV, so once we're roughly on track, we'll level out, let the GPS capture. So autopilot is engaged on both axes. And this should capture us onto the track for Goondawindi. It is capturing. Altitude is capturing also. Although we're not capturing altitude because we do want to have that on. I want to set our vertical speed to about 800 feet. Let go of the controls. Or at least gently let go of the controls, and we should be good to go. And we're going to start our climb now to 4,000 feet for this one. So, Nigel, you've left it. Nigel, why is there a drop bear on the wing?
I can't even remember. Leave me the fuck alone.
Go get it off. Oh God, what are you doing? Okay, thank you, Nigel. Thank you. Apparently a mooring hook is enough to get a koala off the wing. Thank you, Nigel. Yeah, Nigel spends most of his flights when he's not serving the customers horribly, down in the bow compartment ahead of us. He spends most of his time in there looking at his Tony Abbott picture collection and listening to marching music. I don't want to go in there. Really hope I never have to go in there, but so we keep the anchor and most of the mooring gear, so he heads up front and will dock us when we need to land on water. It's kind of his specialty. That is when he's not got his glue collection there too. So climbing right now through about 3,000 feet. Oh, we need to pitch up a little bit more to make sure we're staying on track. And we are beginning to bank onto our direct course for Goondawindi. Shouldn't be a big problem today. Nice simple little flight over very flat Australia. A lot of it is like this, just flat nothingness. Some of it's sandy flat nothingness, some of it's forested and wooded flat nothingness. Lots of little lakes and all sorts. It's a very beautiful country, I've got to say. Did we pull up our flaps? We did not pull up our flaps, okay. That's why we're only doing 120 knots. I'm special. I didn't check that. Alright, let's climb now. So nearly at 4,000 feet and we'll be able to lock this off and have a nice pleasant flight. So yeah, the Grumman Mallard. There really weren't any for Flightsim. One of the other freeware developers, Milton Shoop, was doing one for FS9 and he let us have his base model code and we made it FSX P3D native. We ripped out the cockpit, made a whole new FSX native cockpit, which obviously is a separate model. We went into more detail because there's less of a poly limit in FSX than there is in FS9. Milton being primarily a FS9 developer. And yeah, so the LDR Mallard was born. Of course, all 3D instruments, which is something the FS9 version couldn't have. The 3D GPS GNS 500 unit down there. All the radios and instruments. Most of them we made for the Ryan Navion, which we also made. A lot of them were custom made, like the specific Mallard instruments you see throughout the cockpit. I believe also that's probably the first and only freeware radio altimeter in Flightsim. Don't think any other freeware developers have made a 3D modeled one. 2D modeled ones, yes, but no 3D ones. But yeah, so we did a lot of work with this thing and made it into a wonderful aircraft, and I did all the texture artwork in this one. I did one version of texture exteriors for Milton's FS9 version, and of course I did ours, and we've got a bunch of cool features in this thing, like if I scroll my mouse wheel on this, I can wind open the window, because they had that in this aircraft. They had windows that wound down. Obviously you don't want to do that in flight. The wipers also function. Oh yeah, let me get rid of the yokes. Yeah, we have functioning window wipers. Seems like a little thing, but it makes a big difference. Lots of little niceties throughout the aircraft. Forgot to turn transponder power on because I'm too busy focusing on trying to control Nigel. Let's look around inside the plane. Obviously, co-pilot side, instruments. Ah, yeah, the cabin. Again, I know it's not Caronado quality, but you know, we did our best as a bunch of people who aren't making huge profits off this, and we're doing it for free. I think we're all pretty happy with what we did. Oh, there we go, back in the cockpit. So let's pop up our 2D panel because it's easy for you guys to see it. 12 minutes are expected into Goondawindi, so not a particularly long flight today. But I had to fly to Goondawindi from somewhere, and I figured a seaplane and a lake would be the best way to do that, to keep with my bush flying sort of vibe. But yeah, doing 160 knots ground speed right now. Maybe we've got a 10 knot tailwind based on our airspeed indicated. And 33 nautical miles to go across northern New South Wales. Not quite in Queensland, but northern New South Wales. I'd definitely be doing some more bush flying in Australia. There's a lot of cool places to visit and mines and things out in the desert. In the outback, of course, there's loads of jungle and tropical environments up in New South Wales. Sorry, in Queensland, that's what I was going for. Plus, of course, there's Papua New Guinea just across the water. There's loads of islands, there's the Barrier Reef, so there'll be lots of float plane flying around here. You can guarantee that, and hopefully you guys will enjoy a lot of that stuff, so that'll be some more variety to throw into the sim world. So that's the river that Goondawindi Airport is located on. We'll be following it basically north. You can see it tracking along here, roughly down the centre of this less forested valley. Goondawindi's roughly there, I believe. Like I said, unfortunately no nav aids at Goondawindi that I can find, even on its official website. So yeah, it's a case of RNAV or GPS your way there, which most aircraft operate with these days anyway, so it's kind of a more common thing in the modern world. Orbex Australia V2, which we're flying in right now, Of course, very much updated in terms of airport locations, nav aids, and scenery. So, a beautiful scenic world. Much more interesting than the default Flightsim, of course. And our wonderful Nigel Airways. With that flying dingo. Symbol of quality. Quality glue. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. I like that look. That looked cool. Oof. Big fly past. There we go, back in the cockpit. One of those things I hate about Flightsim is going back and forth between views is a pain in the ass unless you literally go, I want to go outside spot. I want to go cockpit, virtual cockpit. Actually, that is more efficient. We should do that in future. Much more efficient. So, where are we now? 27 nautical miles out. 10 minutes. Nice and easy. I particularly love the sounds on this aircraft. It just sounds so meaty and burbly, and there's so much background sound to it. And yes, the bilge system actually works on this aircraft. That is what this panel was I was turning on while we started up and Nigel was giving a safety brief. We have a bilge pump system. 4 pumps, bilge pump 1, 2, 3, 4, master power to the bilge pump systems, and based on the slider on this panel, let me work out where the button is for it. There we go. You could literally make your hull very watertight, so when you land on water and you're sitting there for a period of time stopped, nothing soaks in. You can make it very old and kind of water can seep in, because that's one thing, boats and float planes are not waterproof. They do take on water, that's why they have bilge pumps to clean out the bilge area of any of that water that's incoming. So, turn on the master power, you go boop, 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 boop. Those are of course the circuits breakers up there for it. But we actually have a functioning bilge system, so once the aircraft has water on board, you'll see water jetting out, no, not jetting out, being ejected from the side of the aircraft, which I think is a nice feature that no one's ever done. There have been quite a few float planes done, of course, in the sim, but I don't think anyone's done a seaplane that has a functioning bilge system. We like to make life complicated for ourselves, we really do. Fun, but complicated. One of those things, I guess. One of these days I'm going to have to show you guys the Ryan Navion that we did as well, because that is actually a very capable bush plane. It's a retractable gear, single engine prop, the Ryan Navion, formerly the North American Navion. Imagine a 4-seat GA version of the Mustang. The original version had a lower horsepower engine, but a lot of them have been done up these days to 300 horsepower like Omings. They're running new cockpits, new panel layouts, all the setups, and we did the A model and the B model. The older version and the newer version, both kind of 50s latest vintage. They're very 50s designs, and one of the things you saw them doing a lot initially was ranchers had them to go find the herds. They would land in bumpy fields. You had them landing on dirt roads to take, parts out to oil rigs during the oil rushes, and those things were crazy. Like, they were a very sturdy landing gear. The army used them as the L-17 for a liaison aircraft and spotter aircraft during the Korean War. So, very capable plane, and even though it's a low-wing 4-seater retractable gear aircraft, it's technically a bush plane, or it could work as a bush plane. Obviously not really got the useful load for much in the bush, depending on what you're moving, but yeah, the Ryan Navion does fit the niche. It's got sturdy gear, it can land on rough terrain, probably off airport if it's not anything too problematic. So if it's dirt roads, that sort of thing, good to go. Maybe a grassy field, but I wouldn't want to put it down on something really rough like a gravel bar or something needing tundra tires, because then you're just thinking the wheels are fairly normal. So yeah, land on dirt, land on grass, good to go. But less about the Navion and more about the flight. Yeah, Australia is somewhere I spent a huge amount of time in my flight sim world. This and, as I previously mentioned, Canada. But I fell in love with this place. It's a beautiful country, and just it looks so very different to anything I know in terms of the Northern Hemisphere and England and America. It's so green. All these hues of green about it is just And when you get to the outback, the shades of red and orange in the desert is just, it's so iconic. It's an absolutely beautiful place. One of the best Flightsim career add-ons out there, FS Economy. Of course, you've got things like Air Hauler, you've got things like FS Passengers, but FS Economy, Australia was my bank. Like, I would fly around here all the time in twin-engine cargo planes, old prop twin-engine cargo planes, because that's my jam. And I'd make bank. 200-300 nautical mile legs and decent-sized cargo loads. I would make so much money down here, because there weren't that many people flying in Australia, so it was always a good option for me. But we are not far out now. We'll just check how far away we are. 5 minutes, 14 nautical miles. So once we get to about 10, Nigel can climb out of the bow. Oi! Wake up! You're just going to do the brief in a minute. We're going to get ready to descend, okay? Okay. Let's see, 13. We're actually coming in pretty quickly right now. 160 knots ground speed. Goondawindi Airport will be just over here, I think. And as you can see there, whilst we've got lots of RNAV points, no nav aids themselves. Yep, that'll be Goondawindi over there. So, time to start our descent. Although it's not a huge amount of descent. Hit him, Nigel.
Ladies and Thomases, on this start again. Sailors and Thomases, every start to descend the aircraft at a rapid rate. Make sure that you got your seatbelt unfastened, because it's more fun that way. Also make sure that you have Thomas and Grass, the dingoes that are sitting next to you, folded up at the tray table, because you can put them away and take them onto the aircraft with you, mate. That's all good. Make sure your seat is in the folded upright position, so you can experience the wild ride as we start to descend. Once again, make sure that your seatbelt is not fastened, so you can enjoy the wild ride. Make sure your luggage, including Thomas, if you want to throw him up top, is securely fastened. It is also against Australian federal customs and laws and stuff that if you do not declare anything on your customs arrival card, you are committing an offence and you'll be taken down to Goondawindi prison for that. My name's Nigel, and have a good flight, mate.
Pretty sure Goondawindi doesn't have a prison, but we'll let Nigel keep believing that. So we're descending about 500 feet per minute right now, keeping our airspeed about 150 knots indicated. So probably about 165 ground. Goondawindi Airport should be visible off our nose in any second now. Descending now. Yeah, we can probably do with descending a little bit quicker than this, so down to back the throttles back a little bit. There we go. So we'll just vector off to our... Oh no, we're heading right in for the downwind, so we'll be doing the left traffic, actually right traffic I suspect in this location, right traffic to runway 04, which will be just ahead of us, so we'll be landing this way. So we'll come in here, fly that way, and land. Nice and simple, you'd think. I like old aircraft when the throttles are lined up together in your hand, but they're not level, so all the engines are just putting out slightly different power. Okay, so that is Goondawindi ahead of us. We should be good to go any second now. Goondawindi traffic, Victor Hotel Yankee is inbound for 04, full stop landing. Going to be entering left downwind, or right downwind correction for runway 04. Okay, we're entering that traffic pattern now, so we'll just fly till we're level with the end of the town, and then we'll start turning for base. Goondawindi, surprisingly enough, untowered. Welcome to Straya. Where's the airfield? There it is. Okay, we're good. So I need to descend a little bit more right now. Coming down through towards 2,500 feet. Goondawindi's actually about 1,000, so we want to come down to about 2k for our pattern. Okay. Keep the airport visible off my right. Let's level us off a little bit here. There she is. So yeah, as soon as we get level with the edge of the town and the river, we'll begin our turn for base, and once we get to that forested area, we'll start our turn for final. Always have a general plan ahead of you of where you're going to go. And make sure the pattern's big enough for the aircraft you're flying. This is not a small plane. Goondawindi traffic, Victor Hotel Yankee, turning base for full stop landing, runway 04. Threshold in sight. So we'll be going past that forest, turning just past it, and we should be good to go. Drop landing gear. Flaps 33 degrees. Fight the trim wheel a little bit. That's the trim wheel up there, that big old thing. There she is. Let's keep everything in one piece already. And we should have no issues whatsoever with this. Big old clanky beast, the Grumman Mallard is. She's not a light aeroplane. This thing is an absolute handful. The high wing design with the engines up top makes the CG quite washy. Goondawindi traffic, Victor Hotel Yankee, turning final, runway 04, full stop landing. Keep an eye on our airspeed. We want to keep ourselves fast enough, but also slow enough to make our glide down to the runway. And I'm probably going to be a little bit off to the left here at the center line, which will correct on our final. Victor Hotel Yankee, Goondawindi traffic, landing runway 04. Yeah, we're well off the center line here. Time to get creative with my flying. I'm going to just bring her in a little bit. We'll throw a little bit of a slip in there, because even though it's a big twin engine seaplane, I can side slip it. Okay, landing flaps 66 degrees. Yeah, this thing turned a lot squishier than I expected. I'm going to have to get creative on this touchdown. Oh no, we're leveling out. Okay. No. No, the gears come up. Crap. Why did that happen? Gear confirmed locked. Gears locked. Okay. That was nerve-wracking. Didn't expect that to happen. Nigel, stop pressing buttons. Swear to God. I'm going to replace you. Okay, we're down, so we'll pull those flaps up like barn doors in this plane. Right there on the back of the wing. So we'll taxi into the apron area, we'll shut down, and we'll let Nigel, head off to the servo. And collect his check from the centerling. Okay. So after a little brief heart stop there of the landing gear coming up as I was on a final, Differential thrust is also great for taxiing, because even though I'm giving it a bit of rudder right now for nose wheel steering, I can do all of my steering and driving with just the throttles. See, not touching the flight controls right now. Although I should probably have the brakes, my feet on the brakes, that would be a good idea. There we go. God damn it! Nigel! Stop pressing buttons. Swear to... I think having my throttle indent at the bottom after I go past the stop at the bottom is actually... Turns out, the gear somehow, as well as the button I have for landing gear. So let's kill the power here.
Ladies and dingoes, welcome to Goondawindi Airport. Today the current time is 22:15 Australian Eastern, mate. Current temperature is fucking hot as shit, mate.
The doors.
Thank you
And we
for
are
flying
good to
cheap
go.
Qantas Airlines or Qantas Airlines. I can't even remember because I got to stop sniffing the glue. Anyway, my name's Nigel and I've been your flight attendant for the past 8 hours. Leave me the fuck alone, I'm going home.
Crack the window to get rid of the smell of glue from the cabin. And we are parked up at Goondawindi Airport here in beautiful New South Wales. Yeah, lots of little nice little dressing things like pito covers and chocks because, yeah. Also, would you look at the detail in that landing gear area? Yeah, we got a bit carried away with the landing gear on this plane. Oh, man. But yes, thank you for flying Budget Qantas Airlines, and we will see you next time on Return to the Wild. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.